Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to our very first installment of competitive racism. With the whites pulling out ahead now. The whites were lagging behind for a while there, but now we have $555,000 contra $520,000. It's official.
It's funny. And it's like, have you looked through the donor names that people have been putting down for their donations to the other chick?
Yes,
It's
some on the other
fucking
side.
hilarious.
The top donor for this one, for example, is Kill Whites. Yeah, there's this has unironically turned into a rather fascinating little situation, honestly. Now this one too, I've seen a couple over here as well. There seems to be whiteness is evil. $5. Well, that's nice of him.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
There's a few spicy ones on both sides of this particular, I don't even know what we call this. This weird cultural moment that we've found ourselves in now where we are... I don't know what we're doing right now. I'm a little bit lost for words as to what's going on.
I'm just confused as shit, man. It's like, I guess it's people just getting tired with the whole like, oh, this specific type of person can get an assload of money for harming or killing somebody. And so then people are like, you know what? This mom said a spicy word. Let's support her since she's being harassed.
Yeah, because there's a whole lot of things that are coming out now around these cases that a lot of it is difficult to... how do I put it? Confirm, I guess? As there's rumors swirling around this lady, Shiloh Hendrix, I believe. I've seen rumors going around that she's apparently some sort of drug addict. There's rumors going around that the guy who was filming her was a convicted pedophile. All kinds of shit. Who knows what's going on here anymore, but it's certainly getting interesting.
I mean, it's like it's like, heck, the way that she just like, you know, it's like, okay, if she was a severe drug addict, I know it depends on the drug, and she was out with her kids, she would be covered up more because she wouldn't want to show any like bruises from needle insert points on her skin and stuff. She doesn't have the sunken in eyes. The only thing that I seen of her being erratic was after her kid was being bullied by another kid who was older than him. Which any mom would be like that, not necessarily calling the kid the N-word, but, you know.
Not necessarily.
I mean, also depends on, like, okay, were they in the middle of the ghetto? Because depending on if she also...
It's just one big ghetto.
Fair enough. Because it's like when I was younger and in some areas that I grew up in, a decent handful amount of people also said the N-word, and they were white because they grew up around other people that really didn't care if they used the N-word or not.
Oh, yeah. The interesting thing is, too, like, this isn't the first thing this is happening. First time this is happening. But it's the first time I think it's happening to this degree, and with the racial part being so pronounced. Because the Karmelo thing, for example, has been a big deal now for quite a while. Karmelo and his family appear to have behaved in a manner almost studiously intended to piss off as many human beings as possible. And it kind of gives me flashbacks to another event years and years ago. Just a little bit of sensation of Simpson going on there.
Oh, if the gloves don't fit, we must acquit. Fucking bull. Ugh.
Because that was a moment where, I mean, who knows? But he certainly looked guilty, but he was acquitted by a majority black jury, and they later more or less bragged that they had acquitted him because of the fact that he was the correct color. So, You said you looked into this yesterday, Mal. Did you find anything about all of the allegations that were flying around?
Yeah, so yeah, I covered this pretty extensively last night on my stream. So I'll start with her being like a druggie and stuff like that. So personally my opinion is that doesn't really matter. But as far as I'm aware, she's not actually. I know Ian Miles Chungus was trying to make her to be a race mixer and paint her like that to piss off the right. That was photoshopped, so that's lies. There, and stuff. And she's but apparently it's been confirmed that she's a stay-at-home mom. She has a husband. They've been married for like 6 years or something like that. Both his kids are. She's got 2 kids. Both of them are his. So it actually sounds like a pretty nice, like family dynamic going on there. In her case, she doesn't actually have any like social media, and it's only these other people talking in her stead. So it's really hard to actually truly confirm, other than trust me, bro, for this stuff. But I mean, it's just a picture, but the picture that she uses for the Give Send Go looks like it does come from a nice, suburban house already. So it could be cherry picked, but like to me, she just plus like she just looks like a normal older mom. Yeah, the sleeve tattoo's a little bit concerning, but that's not the big concern for the situation when it comes down to it. Now, as for the Somali, his charges have been dropped. I don't know exactly when they were dropped. It sounds like it was recently, like because of this scandal that they were dropped. His friend that he was with was his charges weren't dropped at all. And it was reported in the local news of Minneapolis.
I have
So they
lost.
were actually. So it is true that he was accused that he's allegedly a pedophile for this. Now, while I'm usually not the one to believe women, because you should never trust a woman. I trust Somalis significantly less than I trust women, specifically when it comes to like Muslims, especially seeing how the rape gangs over in Britain have been handled. They're quite notorious for going after teenagers and young girls. So I do believe that he probably did it, but then again, it is allegedly, especially since his charges were dropped. So just got to use alleged and that stuff in the case for him. Though why was he at a playground is a little bit of a different story as well. So it's definitely a very special situation across the board.
All right, because as you mentioned, there have indeed been some things. You mentioned good old Ian Smiles Chungs, which, my God, somebody needs to
I can't stand this dude.
Somebody needs to do like a paleontological study on this guy at some point, because I think he has been. I'm pretty sure he has visited every point of the political compass at some point in his history.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not one to usually drag up receipts about people, but I've seen too many old posts of him in drag and supporting trans and stuff like that from like 2020. So he, in my eyes, I'm not one to use the word grifter a whole bunch, but I say he's probably the textbook definition, personally, in my opinion. But I can't stand him.
Oh, I would probably say the grifter shoe fits in this case, as he did post this one, as you mentioned. And the community note isn't even necessary here because
I have lost.
her most identifiable feature is literally the massive sleeve on her arm, which is not there.
I mean, this photo's from 2011, supposedly, with the
I have
Photoshop,
lost.
so she technically could have gotten it sooner after that. But yes, it's obviously Photoshop.
Yes, and he has not taken this down or anything, but it has, of course, gotten a lot of attention. So there is that. Now, as to the allegations against the people, again, it's Chungus, take with a pinch, but apparently these were the people. They had their charges dropped in 2023, so it was not as a result of what was going on, as far as I can tell. Again, it's been kind of difficult to figure out exactly what's going on here with the various individuals in questions. This is fairly new stuff going on, but it is a bit weird that somebody allegedly have engaged in pedophilia is in a children's play yard with a phone filming. Things don't quite fit.
It's also important to note that this was happening in Minnesota, in the Minneapolis area, or I guess it's Rochester, Minnesota, but like it's relatively in the same area. And they do have a ton of Somali immigrants imported over there the past few years. And it's actually where Ellen and Mar originates from too. And so, I cover both American and British politics myself, and so seeing the parallels from the British side of politics and how the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs were treated over there and how Somalis are and stuff like that, I frankly wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't some sort of two-tier justice system or some sort of appeasement, something along those going along those lines in these areas, because that's what these groups typically do with this. So I don't know, but that's my personal bias coming in here because, well, I've seen it too many times throughout the time. Even in America, it's happened a few times. So
it is a bit strange that the Somalis have all decided to congregate in Minneapolis and Minnesota for some reason. But last time I checked, there was about 50 to 60,000 Somalis, the largest community in the U.S., living in that area. So I don't know, it's a weird place to pick out of all of the places in America. As apparently, it's also a place where a lot of Norwegians and Scandinavians settle down, precisely because the climate is closer to home.
Well, the Somali importation is relatively new, and Minnesota used to be a pretty red state. I mean, obviously cities are typically blue centers because that's what all major cities usually are. But importing all these Somalis over the past few years has definitely changed the state in a lot of ways. So it went from more of a red state to, well, now it's more of a purple-blue swing state across the board. So
they were once Norwegians, constantly shaming and denigrating the name of Vikings. Now, I think we should change their football team to something more ethnic. And that has nothing to do with me being upset at how shit they are at sports, either. Just to point that out.
I mean, the Minnesota Vikings are just absolutely shit at sports.
Yep.
There was somebody that I used to work with. He was the only Minnesota Vikings fan, and everyone would make fun of him for it.
Yeah. I remember learning about their existence many years ago and think like, oh, that's kind of cool. How did they do? They're just terrible. And I'm deeply ashamed. And I want to sue them for cultural appropriation.
Also, like, why did they have to make the helmet the same color as the hair? Because it just looks like he has some significant head injuries. But granted, that's just most of the team.
Shameful. Very shameful indeed. But to return to the slightly more serious case, this, of course, has had some far more wide-reaching political and cultural consequences, because, again, allegations, lots and lots of allegations on all sides. The allegation also being that after the confrontation in the schoolyard, where she dropped the N-bomb, she had been doxxed. That appears to be true. That people had been like showing up near her home and stuff, and that she was afraid of sending her children to school. And considering the potential ethnic mix of the neighborhood, perhaps that's not such a bad idea. As
It's like I just hope she's smart with the money, unlike the other family.
yeah, see, some of the little problems here that I'm feeling as well is that you can't judge a book by its cover, of course. You know, she could have gotten all of her tattoos and stuff in a moment of youthful exuberance. Ah, God, the internet's been so fucking shit today. But I'm not sure this is necessarily the individual we want to be the our representative in this thing. So we'll see. A lot of people.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Because it's like I know a lot of moms with tattoos. I have tattoos. And plus it's like those tattoos look like ones that were done, probably about 10 or so years ago, because those types of tattoos were very popular. It's like, heck, my sister got tattoos like that because they were cute. She liked the style. It's kind of like when dudes back in the 2000s got those what are they called? The ones that were always on like the upper arm, like tribal style tattoos. Those were super popular in like the 2000s. And now nobody gets them anymore because they're fucking cringe.
Yes. Now, she does seem to have a stable home life, which is a big plus. But if you ever Google what usually happens to people who win, like, huge sums of money, usually doesn't end well. So I'm a little worried about that point. As this is quite a lot of cash to be dumped on you all of a sudden. Especially as well, the anger over this that is only growing more severe. Like, to begin with, there was a report that apparently the Minnesota Police Department was looking into this. Here we go. Minnesota police probing use of racist slur by white mother towards black child. So this is becoming a far more public thing, where the police is looking into her. So, I mean, she's probably going to want to save some of that for legal fees, at least. I'm just really hoping that she's not an idiot about this, because this could be.
Oh, rest in peace, Arch.
What now? I didn't hear you.
Or is that rest in peace me?
Do I? I'm not sure I'm hearing you. Please repeat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All of a sudden, everything just kind of cut off.
Huh.
It's probably the internet. Yeah, the internet's been terrible. YouTube, in particular, too, has been awful.
You need to redig your internet cables, Arch. Chop, chop, go outside.
Maybe. Well, it's the general internet has been stable. It's just, let's see, is everything up? Yeah, everything is up. Okay. Yeah, no, everything is fine. It's probably Discord and a little bit of stupid stuff. But yeah, I just hope she's clever about this, because for better or worse, she's a national celebrity now, and probably will be for quite some time. Let's see here.
I mean, there shouldn't be anything that they can really go after her for just based off this incident unless they do something really scummy and plant something on her for some reason. Because we don't have hate speech laws here in America. She can say the N-word and there's nothing that can really be done. She can basically say whatever she wants. Like, okay, yeah, it sucks that she's kind of on the playground doing it, but like there's nothing they can really stick her with unless they, like I said, try to pin something on her or find something from her past or something along those lines. But it's still like it's still terrible they're even trying to do this in the first place. Did either of you watch the video for it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing that really pisses me off, and that I haven't actually seen a lot of people talk about, is the end of the video, when he's filming her and she's trying to walk away, and he's just like, "Well, that's hate speech," and she says she just doesn't care. So he's trying. The Somali guy was purposely trying to attack her and try to pin her for hate speech, which is, like I said, something that doesn't actually exist here in America. So he's trying to use essentially European ideas against us. Well, okay, it's not exactly European ideas. It's more of a Marxist subversion, to be more correct. But obviously, Europe has those hate speech laws, and so he was purposely trying to attack her there. And then when she didn't care, he said, "Well, I'm gonna post this on the internet, and we'll see what the internet thinks of you." And that, like, to me, I took that as a threat. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but to me, that seems more like along the life narration, because he's purposely recording her and purposely threatening her to ruin her life over saying the N word. And I, I don't know. I feel like not many people are actually talking about that specific point. Because, like, okay, so he's already suspicious for being alleged pedophile in a park. You know, we can say that it's bad that this woman said the N word around kids. Like, there's different things like that. But he purposely go out of his way to record her and try to attack her for hate speech, and try to throw her life in, completely into disarray on purpose. And so he advocated for the doxing, the threatening, the social security leaks, all the stuff. He was actively trying to ruin her life, and just, I don't know, like it. If anything, I feel like if anybody's gonna be looked into, it should be him, not her, because he was trying to, well, get her harmed.
Well, the problem there is, in all due likelihood, if there are to be any legal consequences, it won't be him, because making a statement like that's hate speech is not a threat, because, as you say, there is no such law in the US, so he can't be threatening her with a law that doesn't exist. What she can actually be dinged with, however, especially in a state like this, is so-called disorderly conduct. So America does have hate speech laws, you just named it differently. Disorderly conduct is a federal misdemeanor where if you cause, and this is such a holdover from the civilized age, by the way, whereas if you cause a scene in an area where civilized conduct is expected, that in and of itself can be a crime. And this is, of course, not a legal system that is ever applied to certain groupings, and Antifa, BLM, etc., rioters, as it is entirely a holdover from the olden European days where it was considered deeply socially unacceptable to cause a scene in public. But that is what, if anything, they would try to get her for. It would be thin, like it would come across as a railroading at that point, no doubt about it, as it would be a stretch and a half. But that is the only thing I can see that they might try here, because she's not behaving in a threatening manner. She's not moving towards him. She's not attacking him or anything like that. In fact, she's actively trying to leave.
So if anything, that can maybe be. Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, I think the worst that they can do is try to throw various misdemeanors at her, and then try to be like, "Oh yeah, this may be a misdemeanor, but she was clearly hateful about it," and then try to get it upped.
There we go. I found it. Disorderly conduct. So this is basically the felony, really, in some states. Jesus, okay. But yes, more or less like I surmised it would be, because we've got variants of this over here too, although we've double and triple and quadruple legalized this stuff.
Heresy's the question. Fire is
This
the
would be the
answer.
only thing I could see, in essence, and it wouldn't be popular, shall we put it like that.
Let's see. And I looked it up. Disorderly conduct is just a misdemeanor in Minnesota.
Okay. because this also comes down to the backlash on social media has been very interesting about this. I wanna play a couple of these because I also love the openness, I suppose, with which this is being met by certain individuals. So I think you guys should be able to hear the audio of this as well.
Ooh, the fucking way I would have rearranged that bitch face if I was in front of her. The way I would have rearranged that fucking bitch face if I was in front of her. I said it in my previous post, but I hope and pray that they find your location, bitch. And I hope they dog walk your stupid ass. I really hope they dog walk your stupid ass, bitch.
Now this, on the other hand, is a threat.
Slut.
This is a crime.
So, when I was saying about the threatening part with the Somali dude, it was more the last sentence at the end when he said, "I'm going to put this on the internet and the internet will judge you," knowing full well that it would cause things like
You
this.
ignorant slut.
So that was more my point there. And because she is getting TikTok videos from people who you call them a word and they get quite violent for some reason, and there's so many examples of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the funny part, isn't it? You shouldn't call them the N-word. Why? Because they'll attack you. Oh shit. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of things like this, and there's actually a fantastic little piece on this, because I think a lot of people have been pointing out that it's kind of like a lot of the reason why so much money has been raised is in essence because people are fed up with the control being enacted against and upon the white populace of America. They feel like they've been victimized, and they now look at a lot of stuff like this, and it's coming across even more openly. They look at things like the Karmelo case, and they view this in more and more racialized terms, which is a bit of a shame because this isn't necessarily a racial issue so much as a people issue, as can be demonstrated by other videos who've come out kind of in support of this. Like this guy is talking about how he's living in a lovely neighborhood. He's a, I have forgotten my English. A construction member? No. Contributing. English, there we go. Member of society, you know. He has his own place. He mows his lawn. He does everything he needs to fit in. And it's like, yeah, no. Everyone here is normal. I don't want to live around my own people because my own people are weird. Why did that die? Why did everything die?
I don't know. Why'd everything die, Arch?
I expected better quality from you. Tisk.
There we go.
He's in the middle of nowhere. He has to dig his own trenches.
Like
We're lucky we get baseline.
That's Brave? Yeah, Brave is fine. It's Chrome, I think.
Black people have always...
Yeah, Chrome sucks. Why do you still use it, Arch?
I need to switch over, apparently. Yeah, Chrome's been shit all day.
It's one button to import everything from Chrome over to Brave, Arch.
Yeah, too hard.
Stop being lazy, Arch.
I do want to highlight as well something that I think is very, very poignant in what's going on.
Oh, well, here's something very, very important. Trevor Unn just gave you $50. Acknowledge.
That is true. If I could see the fucking YouTube back end without it crashing every 5 seconds.
I'll read it. Trevor Unn, thank you for the 50. Hail Arch, Amal, and Footfish. Shut up. Just finished Hellsing Ultimate Anime. Very peak, very good. And it was even better than the original. Have any of you seen it? Where's Shad? Keep up the great work. I've seen Hellsing Ultimate. It's one of my favorite anime. I love Schrodinger, one of my favorite characters. And Chad is on next week. Chad is just got a bit confused on when he was coming on. So not this Sunday, next Sunday.
He's in Australia. What's wrong with you? He's always been in Australia. He lives there.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Trevor N says that the 50 goes towards alien isolation.
We'll see about that. Maybe my Google Drive doesn't work. I have enough horror games on my plate. Upsets me. But I wanted to play this little thing here. So this is from Aaron McGruder, who some of you may remember as the creator of the Boondocks series. Mal is aware of the Boondocks. Lumi, have you seen Boondocks?
I've seen all of the Boondocks.
Good. The Boondocks started out as what I would honestly qualify as a webcomic, in essence, about a black family, and he portrayed, like, they're almost like the Simpsons for black people, I'd almost put it, but with a far more clever social commentary. Like, Aaron McGruder is very clearly a highly educated and intelligent individual who, amusingly enough, came through African American studies and apparently read successfully through between the lines every step of the way, because he arrived on the other end with a very different interpretation of African culture than what I believe was entirely intended.
Oh, and also the Boondocks was originally a comic in the newspaper, Arch.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's basically a webcomic then. Fuck it. Webcomic for official people. But he has a long, like, speech on this, like an hour and a half long, which is rather brilliant. But this part here, I think, is very, very relevant to what's going on.
Black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action, they can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery. I don't care about segregation. I don't care about you. I don't care how many of you all go to jail. I don't care at all, because I'm broke.
Is it just me, or you're not sharing your screen?
God,
I'm just listening to the stream itself.
damn it, Mel, you little tard burglar.
What? I was like,
Should have said something sooner, shouldn't
What?
you?
I was just like,
I was just listening to the
I
stream
checked the
itself.
screen.
God damn it, Mal. You.
I wasn't paying attention to the actual stream.
God damn it, Mal. Shame on you.
What?
Chastise.
That might put you're incompetent.
No, he'll just say you didn't take the initiative and go the extra mile to have the stream up and listen, just in case if Arch does a little fucky wucky.
Chastise.
I mean, I have the chat up, but that's it.
Okay, fine. I'll play it again just for just for you, Mal.
I'm sorry.
I need shock collars with long range.
Long range shot collars. Dear
I
Lord,
don't think you
that's-
want that to happen, because I would probably
that's
like it too
just-
much.
That's just a fucking what are those things called that whores use? A love sense? Lovense? Whatever.
Love sense?
Yeah, it's like that, but a shot collar instead of a dildo.
Yeah, I think mounting a Mal with a love sense would have the opposite effect. But otherwise, good initiative.
I'll neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, and also Bucky Miss is calling you a boomer. And okay, I will laugh at him for you, Bucky Miss.
Bucky Miss is fat and poor. Nobody cares about him.
No, be nice to Bucky. I love Bucky.
One more for Mal's benefit.
Black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action, they can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery. I don't care about segregation. I don't care about you. I don't care how many of you all go to jail. I don't care at all, because I'm broke. You can't be the proud, noble fighter when every single time someone sees a person that looks like you on television, they're acting like a damn fool. How would they know? How would they know you're black people?
I mean, he's right.
That's probably going to get me copyright claim for the music, but yes, no, that is a beautiful way of putting it. Black people in America have been using their social capital very aggressively for a very long time. And that social capital does indeed run out. And this was from like 2015 or 20 or something. This is old. The social capital has been dwindling for a very, 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 very long time. And it will result in something like this, where a woman says something that, and again too, there's been a lot of people arguing like, oh, it's just a word, why are you offended? Like, no, it's not just a word. We know it's not just a word. We have imbued this word with a tremendous amount of social weight, which is exactly why she used it, because when you're upset, you're gonna reach for the word that you think will upset your opposition the most. That happened to be the N-word.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. All right.
It's like that's why people always say, like, we control the power that words have. Now the words like Nazi, pedophile, and stuff like that don't hold as much weight anymore because people just fling it around like it literally means nothing.
Meanwhile, the N-word has been accruing value for a very long time. I would not be surprised if this becomes kind of a word of rebellion within the next 6 months or so. We'll see how far this goes, because there's a lot of pitfalls in the way here. But I would not be surprised if it becomes a word used to signify that you are fed up, in essence. And on some platforms, you're going to be able to get away with it. On Twitter, for example. On YouTube, you're not. And I guess this is going to be us testing how much social control remains within the mainstream media platforms. Because you drop an N-bomb on YouTube, you don't have a channel no more, basically.
Yeah, guys, don't ask Arch to say it live on YouTube, because his channel will get nuked to the fucking ground, and then he'll blame me for it.
I used to say the magic word, chat, before I learned.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. When I was yapping with Pontius, he was telling me of your use during one of your videos.
Well, the thing is, it was a fantastic joke. It was a great joke. The comedic timing was on point. You expected something completely different, because Noblesse have massive noses, and so you're expecting another Jewish joke. But no, I flipped that and used a completely different word. It was brilliant. It was fantastic comedy. Everybody loved it. People got upset.
Yes, people got upset. Of course they got upset, because one, you're literally Hitler, and two, you're Hitler. Yeah, that's about it.
Plus, we have a member of the melanated community with us today, so we gotta be nice.
You lies, easy breathe. Oh, fucking hell.
Cat.
Oh my fucking... What is that? What the fuck is that? Why do you look like a Pillsbury Doughboy, Arch?
Based on a true story where Mal sends me a message at 7 in the morning going, play Victoria 2 with me. And that's just too good of a scene not to replicate. Just waking up as this creature is like, hey, play Victoria. I was like, no, Mel, it's 7. Go away.
The only The only criticism is that Tori should have made your receding hairline more prominent. Other than that, absolute spitting image of you.
Well, the problem is, I'm presuming for a comedic effect, but I don't have a beard. Where's my beard? That's the problem.
Because the beard hides the fact that you have a double chin, so they have to actually show it.
No, your beard goes into hiding when you sleep, so you're nice and comfy, and then it just pops back up when you wake up.
I suppose so. But, yeah, the point is we can't use the N-bomb here for fear of insulting Mal.
Wait, does that mean I get the pass then?
Ask YouTube.
YouTube, apparently I'm black. I switched sides for some stupid reason. I lost 20 IQ, but at least I get to say the N-bomb, so...
There is that. And another point that he brings up in this little clip that I think is excellent as well is this woman. This woman is not like some incredibly high-class, well-off individual. Like, she's dressed in not like a shit way. She's decently dressed. Her clothes don't have holes in them. She's not like living on the streets poor or anything. Same with the child. He's clearly taken well care of. But this is a middle class at best individual, probably like lower middle class. And when you're then entering into a period of increased economic instability, the tariffs will see living prices in America rise. That's going to affect people with children a lot. She probably is literally one of those people who's like, no, I have bigger issues than your word to care about. I am poor too. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like you can tell that she gets the majority of her stuff from Walmart because Walmart has clothes that actually stay together longer than like a couple months and at a pretty decent price. I used to buy my leggings and shirts from Walmart, and leggings were like $3 each, which weren't bad. Granted, again, like I've said, my thighs don't like keeping my pants together because they rub together too much. Anyways, this is a Walmart mom. At least she doesn't look like a fucking welfare queen. I fucking hate welfare queens. I had to ugh. I've already had my grievance. Like, I've already aired my grievances of being a fucking cashier at a grocery store in the middle of the fucking ghetto. Seen enough of them. Fucking hate them.
Num Num canonically confirms that she destroys her leggings with her massive ass.
I'm Mexican. I have thunder thighs. I can't help it. No matter how much I try to work out to get them to go down, the muscles build up, and then I just have strong thighs. And I'm like, but I want them to shrink. And then they're like, no, ruin the pants. I'm like, I hate it.
It's important information
but the men
for
love
the
it.
AI artists. It doesn't help either that, of course, the rather over-the-top backlash again makes her look entirely justified. Because on the face of it, okay, so the story is a black child, not the person who's filming's child, was going through her baby bag or something like that and taking shit out of it, be it toys or diapers or something like that. Because she's like, he stole from my child, okay? And then this other person starts filming, and she calls the kid an N-word, then calls the guy an N-word. Okay. That puts her in the wrong. That probably means that she overreacted from the face of it. Who knows? This could be more deep social interactions with the people knowing each other. But this is immediately cancelled out when you see the internet's reaction, with people calling to find out where she lives, to cancel her, to get her fired from her job. This one, I believe, is one woman arguing that she should have her children taken away. It's like, okay, this seems like a massively
before you
tyrannical...
continue.
Okay.
You got another $50 from Krieger. Trick or treat.
But I could finish my fucking sentence. Plum.
You tell me to interrupt you when you get money that's worth attention.
I know, and I also tell you to not do it at the same time. I am a willful individual.
You are more flip-floppy than a fucking woman, Arch.
God damn it.
Now read.
Let's see. Has the thing stayed up? It has, actually. Sort of. Maybe. No, it hasn't, because it stopped updating chat again. Why does it do this to me?
Because it hates you. Do you want me to read it before I leave?
Krieger, Lum's thighs to her pants. Nom nom.
That's honestly. I think I only found like one brand of pants that don't break down in like a week because it has like an inner lining in the pants. And I'm like, oh, this is a godsend. They're expensive, but they're a godsend. But anyways,
I know.
I gotta go. I'm gonna go fishing with my dad and my sisters and stuff.
Catfishing.
It's been a while since we all just kind of hung out. But I shall see you guys later.
Have fun catfishing with your dad.
Bye.
Shut the fuck up, Arch.
Don't
All right,
catch
bye,
yourself.
Mo.
Bye.
Now, I should get to work on cutting that black cat out to use as Mel's reactive, but I'll worry about that later. Let's listen to this one.
And in 2025, this is what you do. And the fact that you did that when that little boy's parents were not around, they were not present. What kind of person are you behind closed doors?
Okay, that's the other issue that, God, yeah, where are the boys' parents? Because, like, there is a playground. There's a Somali alleged pedophile hanging around. Like, where is the parents going to step in? Why haven't the parents actually gotten involved in this? Because, like, if it's their child that's being attacked, then they should be the one actually standing up and saying something. They should be the one going online and trying to do something, not the Somali guy. Like, where are the parents involved with this? I'm assuming the dad is probably gone, in the picture. But at least where's the mother? So.
Well, some of the allegations around that, some of the speculations, is that there was one picture, like you could see the other child in the video for a moment. And a lot of people have argued that he does not look like a 5-year-old child. He looks...
Yeah, he doesn't.
Significantly
He looks
bigger.
like he's like 8 or 10.
Now, we're not going to try to carbon date children on this particular podcast, at least. But he does look big for his age, and that's entirely possible that he simply is. Yeah, that happens. I saw a Twitter post of a literal baby the other day that weighed like 200 pounds or something. Not pound, 200 pounds, like 20 pounds, 20, 30 pounds. Massive fucking kid. 200-pound baby would probably be a little bit too much. So it can happen. But if we assume that he is perhaps older than originally indicated, that would explain why he's at the playground by himself. Because, you know, the parents figures that their older child is just allowed to do that. Because it is a bit weird that a 5-year-old would be unaccompanied at the playground.
Even still, 5-year-olds know not to steal. And definitely 8 to 10-year-olds also know not to steal. And also, I guess it depends on the parent too, because like, okay. Not to carbon date the child, but like I feel like 8 years old, you probably still with a parent around 10. You know, usually if you have like older siblings, you know, I don't know. Maybe I know my parents were definitely a lot more protective of me, but he wasn't really allowed to be alone even at those ages, and I probably would have put the kid past 10 either. But once again, he should also know not to steal. If he's anyway, I'm not. I'll calm down how racist I am for just a moment.
Well, there was also the statement that he was apparently an autistic kid, and that's why he was rummaging through the bags. I was like, okay, so we have a 5-year-old child who's also autistic and who's being sent to the playroom without supervision. And all of this just seems a bit weird.
Like the autism thing just kind of came out of thin air on the internet that get passed around. It's like the old like slap it on there to help remove much liability as possible, which is ridiculous. So that I'm pressing X to doubt on the autism thing until I get more confirmation on that, because I highly doubt that.
Yeah, there are parts of that don't quite make sense. Here's some more of this.
Like, I'm fearful of your children, and I hope that they get removed from your care.
And there it is, too. Like, okay, you use the N-word. We're gonna have to take your children away now. That seems unreasonable, don't you think?
Just a little bit, just ever so slightly, but totally normal response.
It seems very unreasonable. I was like, I fear for your children. Okay, let's investigate that one for a second, shall we? Why do you fear for her children? Because she used a word? That's unlikely to cause them any harm. Or are you afraid that she will use that word around people who might get violent? Don't teach your children to say that word. Why? They'll be assaulted. Hold on. Why?
Because
And then
you
one
are
could also make
breeding
the argument
something
the fact that she
a
was protecting her kid, because of the fact that the other kid was stealing from them, and so she was basically telling them to fuck off, more or less, just with other words about it. So, you know, if anything, seems like the mom was doing a relatively good job. Personally, not a fan of insulting kids, no matter where they come from, but last and least of the issues here.
Yep.
monster. And I hope that they get removed from your care, because you are breeding something a monster. They deserve so much better than you. You are the lowest person. And the people in the comments that are comment anonymously, you picked the wrong fucking thing to be. It's like that's a battle you're never gonna win.
And there it is too. So a lot of the reason why people are so upset about this is because of this number. And I will say as well, in the defense of the upset other side, there were a lot of conservatives very upset about this as well, as the Karmelo Fund also reached like $500,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money for somebody who probably murdered someone. And I mean, this woman's crime, quote unquote, no matter how you look at it, is nowhere near as serious as being accused of murder. So it very much so feels like a moment of cathartic backlash against what a lot of people view to be an oppressive social standard that has been enacted upon them for a very long time, and they haven't had the social position to say anything against it, because again, as Aaron said, the black people have had a tremendous amount of justified moral currency that they've been able to use to shield themselves for any critique of their actions, which has now decidedly run out, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the add to the fifth fire, Gifts and Go, which was, as far as I'm aware, made as an alternative, a GoFundMe, because of how much activism they did. They wiped the comments for both Shiloh and Karmelo Anthony. I think it was like late yesterday, earlier today. My timeline's a little bit screwed up there. But they only did it because of the fact that the Shiloh one was having the Hitler memes and the N Tower, the most expensive N Tower in history, really, and stuff. But they only did it because of her and the comments that people were saying. Keep in mind, minus the expensive N Tower and stuff like that, most of the comments were filled with just like support for her and wanting to and tired of the double standard and of supporting white people, versus Carmelo's had a lot of support for black people, but a lot of them were advocating there's one that's like death for the white man. There's lots of people saying that they're happy that Austin McNabb was stabbed, and just basically like actual like more anger and violence coming from the Karmelo Anthony one. But they only shut down the comments for the donations for the because of what happened with Shiloh. So granted, they did for both of them, which is good. So at least it's a standard across both boards there. But they only did it after Carmelo's been up for a month saying that crap. Shiloh's been up for 2 days. To me, I don't know. That rubs me the wrong way.
Yes, because she did try to make a GoFundMe for a little while as well. As we can see here, it's still on the Google search engine. Of course, if you click on it, it has been deleted, of course. And Give, Send, Go have defended both of these campaigns, partially because it's probably earning them a lot of money and getting a lot of attention as well. But they basically put forth the Christian argument of like, no, we are literally just a crowdfunding platform. We don't care. We're not here to pass judgment. We're just performing a service, which is the correct position to take. But, well, neutrality is not going to help you out here, I don't think. I'll see how well that works out for them, as I imagine they're going to be under a lot more attack coming forward. Oh god, there are so many of these.
So many.
I knew.
There's even people counter-singling on the right as well. There is that Riley Gaines chick, who she got support a few years ago because she was a woman standing up against the trans athletes in sports because it's completely unfair, and people rallied against her. They donated money to her. They raised her up to be a figurehead, just like they did with Shiloh, for basically a similar cause in the sense of people being tired of the trannies essentially. And then she comes out and I don't know, maybe it's my woman hating woman moment here, but it really seems like she was trying to knock the ladder away from Shiloh because she's like, I read the tweets yesterday. Maybe I can find them and send them to you real quick. But she was just making a big deal about Shiloh getting the money over saying a word, and which is not exactly the case because Shiloh made this the Give, Send, Go, because she was getting doxxed and she needs to move. Because she said the N-word, but that once again, the Somali man purposely did post it on the internet too for that effect. But Riley Gaines was just trying to knock her down essentially, and it's just like, and call her a white Karmelo Anthony, and that's just absolutely fucking rich in my but.
Yep.
I knew they were gonna do this. I knew they were going to do this, y'all. I knew they were going to do this. And it's taking everything in me not to go crazy right now. This woman right here called a 5-year-old black autistic little boy the N-word and said that that it was justified because he was acting like one. Oh, Rochester.
I would like to quote a stand-up comedian here, something that has caught me in trouble before, and yet nevertheless, it is okay to call a faggot if he's acting like a faggot. Just saying, that's a thing. And again, she was literally just reaching for the thing she expected to hurt the opposition the most. A heat of the moment sort of thing. That's what's happening here. As she's stressed out, she's being filmed and all this is happening. And she was probably also thinking what was going to happen here, because the reaction to this has, of course, again, been overwhelming. It would have been interesting to see if anything would have come from it if she didn't start a funding campaign, I guess. Because at this point, I'm not sure whether or not people are most upset about the word or about the funding campaign. as one of the main reasons why the allies are upset with her is the funding campaign, too. I like this one. It's amazing how many Americans are not only accepting of grown white woman calling a 5-year-old black kid, can't say that word on YouTube, but sending their money as the white bitch plays victim of her actions. I like that, too. It's like, this, we can't say the bad word unless it's bitch.
We can't insult her.
77 million Americans are racists. Well,
Damn right.
if they aren't, they're swiftly becoming ones. That's probably the problem.
I sure hell wasn't this racist 5 years ago, I can tell you that.
Well, no, and again, it goes back to Aaron's argument about the social currency. He calls it moral currency. America and the rest of the world just wasn't very racist at all. Not in the slightest. In fact, we had practically solved racism near completely. And then it was resurrected as a way to gain social capital, to gain power and credit and influence. One funny little thing, for example, is that there was a very famous television show before the time of Mal and other creatures of little notice called The Fresh Prince. A lot of people don't know this, but originally the idea was for this to be one of countless fish out of water shows that were super duper popular at the time, where you'd have Will Smith living in a family of rich white people, basically. And it was supposed to be the difference between the... And I love the fact, too, back at that point, Will Smith's depiction of his character in the, 90s was considered ghetto thug. Like, this here was considered gangster. Fuck me.
I mean, if Kanye showed anything, saying how much he loves his cousin's dick, and how fruity that picture looks, I'm seeing a correlation.
Yeah, we have come a long way from the times of this being the reprehensible young blacks. God damn it! Honestly, I think that is a genuine distinction as well between American blacks and foreign blacks, because the American black populace was basically on the verge of fully integrating into American culture in the 90s. And then the brakes were pulled on that integration so fucking hard that now we have third world nation situations going on in the US. But they changed it from being a white family to being a black family because that just seemed like an interesting idea. What if we have a black family that, for all intents and purposes, basically acts white? Wouldn't that be even funnier? And it was. And everybody loved the shit out of this show. Like, nobody had a problem with it. Not a single person. Nobody had a problem with Urkel or the dozens of other shows just like it. Racism was done. And then we brought it back over the last 20-odd years.
I wasn't around at that time, so I can't exactly commentate. But from what the little bit I do know about 90s history, I don't know. But then again, once it wasn't actually, I wasn't even born yet, so.
I know. Shut up, fetus.
Want me to throw me in the trash bin too?
Maybe. But there was there was a genuine feeling that we were past this, that we literally entered the era of actual inclusion, not the current use of the word, but where nobody gave a shit about the color of your skin. That was a very, very, very tertiary concern, if that. I mean, there was even white Jesus himself, Eminem, who used to be a bit of a front leader of this, along with Will Smith. Where if anything, Eminem was more gangster than Will Smith. I remember the two of them had like a whole beef thing going on where Will Smith had a rap career.
Trick or treat.
And he was singing about how you don't need to curse to sell records, and Eminem released a track going, well, I do, so fuck you. It was great. It was great. There was a genuine sense of everyone kind of getting along, and even the most like strident of disagreements almost came across as somehow more amicable than they do today. Like now.
Well, another important thing to mention, though, is the demographics of the 90s was much different than it is now in the 2025.
Yeah, like I said, also the black, the American blacks contra the other blacks.
So it's let's see how much should I toe the line here? Let's. Oh, okay. I'll move on. I won't say that for now.
Well, I will. I will then move on to the next topic, which is the person who brought back racism, Obama. Now, might be a pinch exaggerating. Fair enough, because he was a little bit later on, but I shit you not. The Democrats are the ones primarily responsible for this. Because you didn't have the vitriol back then. You didn't have this. Like, oh my God, this woman! Take our children away! They're monsters! How dare you exist! But the entire change campaign was a huge part of this, where everyone knows what he was talking about when he was saying change. It was a change away from the established social norms. It's when you look back at it, it becomes eerily Gramscian in a way. It's like, change, what does that mean? Well, I can't define it, because if I do, you're not going to like it. It means I'm going to change all of your things. I'm going to change the way you live. I'm going to change the way you think. I don't even think Obama was aware of what that truly meant, but he was the herald of change, most assuredly so, as he introduced a far deeper racial split in America and a far more us versus them mentality, which the Democrats have been running with since because, well, it got them into office and it made Obama very, very, very popular. His image as a goddamn saint has only very recently begun to fade. And to be fair, the right wing at that time also was fucking retarded. So that didn't help. Are you old enough to remember Obama, Mal, or do I need to give you a primer?
Ever so slightly. My two most prominent memories of Obama was when I was in first grade. That was roughly when he was going in the office, and I went to a Catholic school, and they wanted us to do a mock election to help teach us how voting works. And they had I forget who it was. Was it like Romney at the time who was going against him? And saying that basically it was like Romney was the one who wants to save babies and Obama was the one who wants to kill babies. I made it very clear like moral stance on the two of them and that direction. Granted, I also had a nun as the teacher too, so that didn't help either. So I was just like, oh well, I guess I gotta vote for the non baby killer then. So. And then the other memory I have about Obama is this is actually when I was starting to get into politics myself, because I got into politics around when I was like 12 years old, but I was left-leaning politics. But I do remember him actually, you know, the whole I forget what the actual act was called, but when he signed in for gay marriage to become legalized back in 2015, and my teacher, once again, went to a Catholic school, had his address on her laptop, and we all surrounded her desk, and she was just losing her goddamn mind about the situation. And my lefty Tumblr days was actually sitting there fuming in silence because I was just like, oh well, I can't believe she's such a bigot, blah 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 blah, you know, homophobic. piece of shit in my mind, of course. So those are my two real memories when it comes with Obama is baby killer and gay rights.
Well, that's a nice and quick summary, isn't it?
But now as I'm doing my own political little B2B stuff myself, I am learning a bit more about him. Almost on a daily basis, and I'm not exactly a huge fan of him personally. So,
He was the flashpoint, in my opinion, where a lot of this came into the proper mainstream popular politics. Even though a lot of this had been simmering for quite some time, it didn't manage to gain as much momentum and speed as it did when it became more popularized. And now, of course, it's gotten a lot more open with it, to the point where I love this one here, because we really have to educate the right on what the First Amendment is. It protects our rights to protest and to criticize the government. It does not entitle you to be openly hateful or avoid the social ramifications of speech. This is one of those things that deeply fascinates me, because you've got the right-winger making the argument that free speech is supposed to protect all speech, which is partially true, and then you have the left-winger also making another partially true statement. I feel as if the extremity of the situation is making everyone kind of lose sight of reality. Because the First Amendment, of course, does not protect all speech. There are still things like libel. There are still things like speaking blatant untruths about people that can get you sued and all of this nonsense. But it also isn't only your right to protest and to criticize the government either. It's actually, if anything, a bit broader than that and a little narrower than this, as if I recall correctly, it's the freedom of the press is part of it, and it's the freedom to say whatever you want, free of censorship and governmental interference.
Did you kill yourself?
Did it? Did it?
You just like the stream just like oh wait the free stream on Discord just fucking died. Let me check the actual stream on YouTube.
All right, yeah, that's still connected, it seems, but Reactive is having a hard time.
Oh.
Yeah, Discord
We're just
and Reactive.
cogs in the machine.
Yep, Discord and Reactive is having a very hard time, clearly.
They can't hear us, so Mike, we should totally slur some more.
God damn it. Where was I? I had a train of thought going.
I should have dropped some more M-bombs.
Let me actually look up precisely the wording before I continue on this, but I'm relatively sure that I'm correct.
I'm gonna be right back. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Go on. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble. So, okay, there you go. So, or abridge the freedom of speech. That's the big thing. So, here it is presented as if it is your right to protest and to criticize the government. That's all. No. It is abridging the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech is explicitly protected in the First Amendment, but it also doesn't protect all speech. It is an interesting situation. And you can also, again, you see this with the money raised. Like, there is very clearly has become very strident battle lines established between basically, at this point, competing interpretations of reality. Straight up, I would say. And the interesting part there too, though, is if we do indeed have competing versions of reality, which it seems like we do, how much further can this divide possibly deepen before we hit some sort of extreme moment? Because people meme about the Civil War, right? The Tim Pool, like the Civil War, all of that shit. And I don't think we're there anywhere. I don't think we're there anywhere near yet. Like, there's no states starting to argue for this. This is just regular people. And regular people are never going to start a civil war because there ain't enough of them. They're not organized enough. They don't really have the opportunity to do so. And I doubt there'll be a guerrilla movement kicking off in America anytime soon. But it is a legitimate question. Like, how much more extreme can the divide actually become at this point?
Well, I do know I've seen people on Twitter talk about there's going to be a race war this summer.
Surprise me.
I was gonna say, but yeah, which by the way, I don't condone race war, by the way, but I saw people talking about it on Twitter just because it is crazy how much of the divide is from the, I say left and right, but I guess even because there's plenty of left-leaning people, white left-leaning people out there. So I guess I'll paint the battle lines on those figures. Because like, with the Karmelo Anthony situation, saying that it was self-defense when the police report and all the witnesses there and all the facts that we currently have about the situation scream that it wasn't actually self-defense. And then you have there's actual black people out there who genuinely believe that Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 black men back in the day and stuff like that. I mean, they still have the George Floyd narrative where the cop killed him when it was a fent overdose, like all this stuff. Like it's very 2 different worlds where people are getting their information on, and both parties are getting tired of each other. So only time will tell how the situation is resolved.
Yeah, because it's not a race war thing. So you've got Amy here, who is, I'd say that's pretty pale.
You're not sharing your screen, by the way.
Oh, God. Well, this time at least you told me, so I can't criticize you. It's fine. Otherwise, I would have.
I'm a woman, so
Good
there's
enough.
plenty to criticize already.
But you've got this chick who wrote that the First Amendment doesn't protect your free speech. And one, she has fucking enormous eyes. Good God.
That's a filter, Arch.
I mean, is it? I mean, that's a golem right there. Holy
That's like a
shit.
Snapchat filter, you fucking boomer.
It's like, my God, look at them. But she is obviously a pale-skinned individual, and yet she's on the black side of this divide, I guess.
Well, it's fucking white women, but I hate women in general.
All white women are coal diggers. Is that what you're saying, Mel?
Yes.
Trick or treat.
Is that why you're black?
Wait, no, that puts me. Shit.
And you've also got the example of Aaron McGruder, who is a black guy, who's like, yeah, no, I understand exactly what's happening here. I am trying to tell you, stop abusing the trust of the other main demographic of America. It's not going to work out well. So it's not a racial thing. It is not a racial thing. It is a political thing first and foremost, and a lot of the black people who have been conditioned to react so extraordinarily violently to this particular word. Well, again, what is a word? A word is simply a sound. A word means nothing. The N-word means nothing. However, we then have political groupings that move in and attribute tremendous meaning to that word, to the point that you can't say it. It is a word that cannot be spoken in civil society. It is a word that cannot be spoken on most social media platforms. This didn't happen naturally. God didn't reach down and go like, the N-word is forbidden. No, it's a political movement that gave it this power. And if anything, it would be a divide between that political movement and the forces opposing it, which is very, very loosely defined as the right wing right now. So, I don't know what is next, but it can't possibly escalate much further, surely. I mean, I don't see what the next step is beyond domestic terrorism, I guess.
I mean, unless there's our summer of love, which I don't think the rights will do, because it's just maybe it's my bias kicking in. But even though the right has been tested for, let's say, roughly 10 to 15 years, ever since intersectionality has really come in full swing, because of the fact that it's, how do I word this correctly? I don't really see them actively becoming violent and starting anything. I see it coming from the left myself. And then whatever the right's reaction to that will be something. It's very telling that Trump and Vance did not commentate on the Carmelo Anthony. And I know people were wanting him to commentate on this thing too. And there's no way in hell either of them are actually going to make a statement about Carmelo Anthony or Shiloh at all, because that would definitely spark something bad happening. So it's just basically I don't even know what to predict in this case, because I really don't see much violence coming from the right unless the left starts it, which is possible, but they are slowly but surely dying themselves.
Well, that's one of the interesting little things, isn't it? Because you've got the right, again, is a very poorly defined term right now, because